Well, we did it. We made it to 2021. I know I, for one, am so thankful to be turning the page from 2020 into a new year. January 1st always feels like a new start to me, but this year feels like the biggest fresh start we've ever had. I know that January 1st doesn't necessarily represent all of the challenges of 2020 magically going away. But I do know that we can create a better mindset and hope for the future with a number of changes in our lives or fine tuning. As I've mentioned before, we're going to be rolling out something called the 12 elements of health. In the past month or so, I've been brainstorming with some of my staff members at my practice and some of my best friends of what are the components that go into a healthy human being, whether that's physical health, nutrition, rest, emotional health? There's so many things that go into our human frames and our human bodies thriving and being at their best. So I'd like you to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and I'd like you to start from where you are right now. With these 12 elements of health, which I'll mention in a moment, I want you to look at each one and really honestly rate yourself for where am I? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being I am knocking this out of the freaking park. I've got this element down. I don't really need to tweak it. I don't need to improve it. I feel like I have a really good hold on this and I am doing the best I possibly know how to do in this category and element in my life. One being, holy crap, I really need some help with this. So as you look at each month and each element of health that I'm about to say, I want you to give yourself a rating from 1 to 10. And this is just where you're at now. My hope and my goal with this year is on January 1st of 2022, you can pull this list back out and you can look at it and you can feel so proud of yourself. You can look at a few of these elements that you were really struggling with and really having challenges with and see the progress that you've made through what we're going to be sharing with this initiative and this journey towards better health. So the 12 elements are January, mindset; February, ergonomics of life; March, physical health; April, sleep and rest; May, nutrition and hydration; June, movement and flexibility; July, financial health; August, spiritual well being; September, emotional health; October, life balance; November, gratitude; and we round out December, the month of holiday gatherings with healthy relationships. So go to that piece of paper and we're going to go through it one by one. And I'm just going to give you a couple of things that I think go into these categories. And we don't need to make this super complicated. You don't have to, all right, I'm about a 5.25. I mean, really just go with what your gut says. Where am I? And what are the things I need to make improvements with? So if we start with mindset, I think mindset is one of the most valuable things that we can get going in the right direction. If we can get our brain set to positive, if we can give life the benefit of the doubt, if we can believe that good things are coming our way, that people are good to us and good human beings, if we can believe a lot of these positive things and think of the world as glass half full as opposed to glass half empty, I believe that so many other parts of our lives will fall into place. So, what about you? Are you more of a positive mindset, or do you really struggle with kind of being more negative or always assuming the worst is going to happen? Go ahead and rate yourself from 1 to 10. Next is ergonomics of life. As a chiropractor and as people have been home much of 2020 working, it's been almost humorous to see the positions that people show me that they've been in for work. So when you think about your ergonomics of your posture, your human posture, how you sleep, your work, if you work outside of the home or you've been working from home, what does your desk situation look like? And all of the things that go into the postures that we hold during long periods of time. Do you sit 10 hours a day? And rate yourself as far as your ergonomic health from 1 to 10. Now we're going to go into physical health. Now, physical health embodies a whole number of things, and some of which I will have them broken out into other elements. So, for physical health, for me right now, is how does your body feel? Do you feel good? Do you have heartburn every night? Do you feel creaky every time you stand up? Do you feel strong? Do you feel powerful? Do you feel limber? Or do you feel pain and struggle? And do you have this feeling like I'm not taking care of myself? Again, rate that on 1 to 10. Next is sleep and rest. This is a challenging one for many people. Many people struggle with sleep. But are you giving yourself the best opportunity to get good sleep? Are you taking breaks or rest time during your days, your weeks, your months to allow your body to decompress, to allow your brain to rest? Are you giving your body a fighting chance at getting that restorative sleep that you need? Sleep is the time that our muscles, our ligaments, our organs, they heal. And if we're not getting that proper sleep, it's going to affect, again, almost every function of our lives. So rate yourself from 1 to 10. Next is nutrition and hydration, another big topic. There are so many things that go into proper nutrition and making sure that our bodies are hydrated. I know for a fact that most of the people I see in my practice are dehydrated. When I talk about the fact that we are supposed to drink half of our body weight in ounces, most people look at me like I'm a little crazy. And then you add in drinking coffee or having wine at night or drinking diet soda or anything with caffeine, and exercise. Those things are going to dehydrate our bodies. So it means that we need to drink even more water than that half of our body weight in ounces. For nutrition, are we getting a balanced diet? Are we eating enough protein, fat, healthy carbohydrates, fiber? Are we getting the nutrition and the minerals that we need? Are we putting the fuel in our bodies that we need to move this vehicle from one day to the next and allow it to function the way that it's supposed to? So for that, rate yourself from 1 to 10. The next one is going to be in June, and that's movement and flexibility. I say movement because exercise, I think, scares people. Some of you love to exercise. You have it as a habit and you just get up and you do it, or you do it after work or whatever time that you've carved out for yourself. But for many of us, this is something we struggle with. The day goes by, we're super busy, we're exhausted. And at the end of the day, the thought process of jumping on your stationary bike or going for a walk just seems out of reach. But movement can involve many other things. Cleaning the house is movement. Taking a walk with the dog is movement. Dancing with your kids in the living room, building a fort with them. There's so many things that can be parts of life that are considered exercise or movement and keeping our bodies strong and limber. Flexibility. I have not met a patient that has a super flexible hamstring in 23 years of practice. And our flexibility really affects how our bodies age and how our spine ages as well. So rate yourself in movement and flexibility on a 1 to 10. Next is financial health. This element was actually added by my best friend Emily. I reached out to her and I shared where my mind was with these 12 elements, and I said, "Am I missing something?" And she was like, "What about financial health?" And I thought, this one is so important to add. If you are financially stressed, the domino effects of that in your emotional health and your physical health are going to come through over time. For financial health, it's a challenging one. And I think that for many people, it's a place of fear. Looking your finances dead in the face and saying, where am I at? How much money do I have? How much debt do I have? What are my monthly expenses? And how much am I bringing in each month? So, just from your gut, where is your finances at? Are you a 1? Are you a 3? Are you a 7? Are you a 10? Go ahead and rate yourself. In August, we'll work into spiritual well-being. I wasn't sure what to call this because I don't mean this in a specific religious way. I don't I don't mean that you have to believe a certain thing to fall into this category. but our bodies are a part of something larger. Our bodies were created. If you actually study the human body, when I went through chiropractic school, it blew me away. And I knew in my heart that this physical being that is so complicated and has billions of interactions and neurons and cells and all that goes into creating a human, I knew that it was connected to something bigger. And so I believe finding that for yourself, whatever that looks like for you, is really important. And so for some people, it's plugging into nature on a regular basis. For some people, it's attending church. For some people, it's a universal belonging and belief that we are part of something bigger. So go ahead and rate your spiritual health from what you believe to be a 1 to 10 scale. September, we'll be talking about emotional health. Emotional health is a huge issue that affects so many people. I talk regularly on the Socket podcast about seeing a counselor and working through some of the emotions that as a human being and a person in this world we come across. And for the most part, I feel as if I have a really good handle on my emotional well being. For some people, they're really struggling in this category, and it's something that they feel they need to work on and tackle. And 2021 is there's no time like the present. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. The next is life balance. I often get asked about life balance if I'm sitting on a panel for the chamber or anywhere that I'm speaking. And sometimes I just kind of chuckle because they always look at me as a working mom and say, how do you balance your work and how do you balance, being a mom? And I always kind of laugh because there just isn't a great way to do that. If I'm being super present with my kids, now they're older now, so it's a little different, but if I'm being super, super present with my kids, there is something in my work life that is not being addressed. If I am diving into a work project or I'm seeing 40 patients in a day, then there's probably something I'm missing with my children. And so I think life balance is more about accepting the fact that sometimes it can't be in balance. And sometimes you have to pick and choose and learning that that's okay and not feeling intense guilt over that. So go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 for life balance. The last two, November, the month of Thanksgiving, we talk about gratitude. We talk about intentional living and plugging into happiness and the simple pleasures in life, looking at all the things in your life to be thankful for and to be grateful for, and let that permeate every cell of your body and focus on that in your mind as opposed to all of the stressors and all of the frustrations and all of the things that you come across on your day-to-day in your day-to-day living that might be be frustrating, that kind of makes you upset. And the more you fill your brain with the things that you're grateful for, the less you have room for some of these things that don't really matter. So rate yourself of how much you hold gratitude in your heart and in your mind on a scale of 1 to 10. Last but not least is healthy relationships. That can be a doozy for some people. I know in December, we're doing this in December, and in December is holiday time. It's a time where lots of people get together with family and friends. Sometimes those are people that you have in your life on a very regular basis. Sometimes those are people that you only see once a year or once every couple of years. How do you go about maintaining healthy relationships? How do you go about maintaining boundaries, saying no when you need to? Um, Building really good bonds with people in your life. So I'd like you to rate yourself 1 to 10 for where you think you are right now. So now you're looking at a list of 12 elements and you have a rating of 1 to 10 next to each of them. I want you to take your 3 lowest ones. So let's say you're in a lot of debt and your financial health, you have it rated as a 1 or a 2. Go ahead and circle that. Let's say you absolutely do not get enough sleep and you rate that as a 3. Go ahead and circle that one. Let's say what's another one? That's a good one. Let's say life balance. Let's say you're overscheduled in every single part of your life. And anytime you drop the ball or anytime you miss something, either at work or home or with a friend or whatever that may be, that you feel intense guilt and it's really taking up a lot of your energy. Go ahead and circle that one. So, whichever three you deem to be your three elements of health that you need the most work on, I want you to start there. I want you to make 3 lines underneath those ratings and put those 3 elements, the least or the lowest ones that you have. And I want you to think of one action step that you can take. And that action step may be, let's say for your finances, I'm going to figure out where I am. I'm not going to be afraid to open up my online bank account, to open up my bills, to open up my credit cards, and to lay it all out in front of me so I can see a visual of where am I now. So that just living in your own reality and acknowledging where you're at is an action step. You don't magically need to erase everything and become a billionaire overnight. It's taking these little steps towards health in each of these categories. Let's say for emotional health, you're really struggling with anxiety, depression, um, just feeling blue and down. What is something you can do that you can take a step towards improving that? Is there someone in your life that you trust that you feel like you could talk to about how you're feeling? Do you think that it might be time to finally call a therapist and talk with them? Go ahead and put that down. And then let's say your third one is mindset, that you feel like you have a really negative mindset. Find a book on mindset that you like to read. Go to your social media page and unfollow some things that make you stressed out or view the world in a negative way, and like 3 pages on positivity, on growth mindset, and start plugging into those things in a different way. So for each of you this is going to be different, and each of your action items are going to be different. And for some of you, you already have this all down, and for others of you, you're still not sure exactly how to rate yourself. Everyone's different and everyone can process some of these things in a different way. So I'd like you to take some time this week and really give this some thought. And once you get down to those 3 action steps for the 3 elements in your life that you need the most work on, I want you to practice those 3 things. And I want you to get good at them. And I want you to make a habit out of them. And I want you to feel within the next month that you can really make some headway in those 3 categories with those 3 action steps. And once we get past this month, I'm going to challenge you to pick 3 more. Maybe they're still in the same categories. Maybe you're going to move on to another category. But little by little by little, if you plug into this with me this year, I promise you by the end of this year, and I know that sounds like a really long time, but a year goes by fast. And so often we don't take the time to do the things that we need to change the habits we need to change the mindset, to change the belief systems, all of those things that go into creating a healthy, happy life. If we just kind of put our heads in the sand one more year, or this year is going to roll on by and we're going to turn the calendar into 2022 and not have made any progress. And I know that you can make progress. I know that in a 1 year period of time, if we take little chunks out of little chunks, out of little bites, out of some of these elements and turn them around and get them going in a better direction, we are going to wind up in a much better place. And like I said before, I really want everyone to end this year and be able to look back at this list and this rating system and look at how far they've been able to come. I look forward to being on this journey with you, and I'll be back next week. Thanks.